We're talking about the largest liquidation in Bitcoin's history. Well, maybe this could be a Z, because it could really be the calm before the storm right now. Was for a weekend. Trump has proven once again, I am spontaneous, and everyone who is running around out there saying, I saw that coming, definitely not, because nobody knew that. So accordingly, the reaction in the market was as expected. But let's take a closer look now. Why does it feel like the entire crypto market has collapsed? How crazy is this scale? Because in detail, I think many out there aren't even aware of this. And especially how you should react now. We're not wasting any time and diving right in. We'll see each other after the intro. But before we get to some news, I want to sincerely thank you once again. Absolutely wild. Guys, what a crash. Yesterday, over 9,000 views on this video. I can only give the tip, please don't judge just by the thumbnail, but also take a look at the video. The hype is elsewhere. So here the likes are absolutely insane. Endless comments, plenty of discussion material. You can also tell that there's a bit of fear in the market, but as I said, you'll see everything there. By the way, we've also more than surpassed the 9K mark. We are currently at 9,160 subscribers. So even if you're looking for a channel that provides you with objective reporting that works without hype, neutral, fact-based, daily, if the news delivers, then welcome to the community. You can also become an uptrender. Feel free to leave a free subscription and activate the bell so you don't miss any important info. And if you really like the video, then feel free to give it a like or write a comment. That gets the algorithm going. A warm welcome to all the newcomers here, and let's get started. I'm not going to say too much in general. If you take a look at this, it's a bloodbath, an absolute one. We have Bitcoin down 4.4%, and it was even lower before. Ethereum has dropped almost 17%. Moly moly, we would really like to see that in the plus. XRP here is also down, almost 18%. Well, let's leave it at 17% for now. By the way, they were briefly down around minus 30%. ADA is down almost 21% as well. But I still want to keep this high. That's why I'm going to move this here. The hype is still there. So at least the only position, which is still at 2.64%. But being in the plus is good. Let's take a look right away at why that was the case. I briefly showed the nests here on Friday, and what you can see here, at first everything looked really clean, a nice rise, and then on Friday around 6 p.m., bam, it went down hard. And by the way, at this point, we should also be curious about how things will go today. Because unlike crypto, the traditional markets were closed over the weekend, so this could definitely get very interesting. What's coming our way at 3:30 p.m.? But I'll get to that in a moment. How you might want to react now. It's definitely the same game with Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at the 15-minute view and check this out. Here on Friday, just before or around 6 p.m., bam, wiped out. And yes, since that point, there hasn't been any rise anymore. Great. So we've really taken a nosedive here. So take a look at this. We're at just under 11%, and the correction from Friday hasn't even been taken into account yet. So it's absolutely crazy. You can now state this. Okay, there was a brief test, and then it went back up. But yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. I also did a live session last night, not on this topic, but how you can run a trading bot. I'm sure there were a lot of people who were massively over-leveraged in the market. Absolutely wiped out, so I can also say openly not about the bot. But also, so I had a leverage trade running on XRP at 4x at the beginning of last week. And that blew me away too. So I heard a lot of people out there. They also have much more experience in trading. They're also stuck in the negative right now, because unfortunately, no one could see that, even if there's hate coming now. And that means, yes, but you didn't say that here, did you? Yeah, of course I didn't say that. I can read charts, But the chart doesn't show that Trump just pulls off a complete surprise move. But I'll get to that in a moment. Definitely with the bot, what was interesting is, so I started one yesterday. Yes, it's currently in the red for me. That's completely clear, and it needs to come back up first. However, it did collect this position for me beautifully. So we'll have to wait and see. We need to see how this develops. Personally, I wouldn't do anything right now. But if you're interested in how to start such a bot, what to pay attention to, so that you're not overly leveraged in the market, etc., feel free to click here. Let's also take a quick look at the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you were to include Ethereum right now, then it would probably be even more massive. Yes, exactly. But still, yes, I said it too. But of course, the news, and especially news of this magnitude, they make the decisions. So we're talking here, just to get that out of the way, about the biggest liquidation during the time of Bitcoin. So that's absolutely crazy. But the altcoin sector has definitely bled even more. And here it's a complete kamikaze dive. So yes, it's wild. And now we just have to see. I already have a prediction for that, but I'll get to it in a moment. Crypto is still good for its surprises. You can see that here, for example. So I've been active in a CoinTip group for a few weeks and months now. We're a real caller, so not an AI in any form. I've analyzed all these projects, and I was there yesterday when the whole market crashed. So even at the time when I posted this in my group, I posted in the group, so in the free group, it should have been around here. It was almost 100% up yesterday. Absolutely crazy stuff like that can happen. And you can also feel free to save the coin, because I find it quite interesting what this token is up to. You already have some pretty good starting points here, where one could say, okay, possibly. Isn't it going to go that far anymore? Down. We'll see how the further development goes, but the chart definitely looks very healthy. It's of course at a very low market cap, which also brings a certain level of risk. Now, if anyone is here, he says, yes, these coin tips would definitely interest me. If you're best off somewhere down here. So at that time, I think I got in somewhere around here. So at that time, you can see the date. Then you can also just message me privately. Write to me on Telegram, then I can give you more information. But as I said, you can see that even though the market is bleeding, there are still opportunities in the market to make money, even if it's sometimes very short term. Now let's get back to the liquidation, because you can see that here. So yeah, that's definitely a big deal that went down here. That was liquidated here. I'm not going to keep you waiting for the next part. I've pulled this out here. So yeah, this crash, it reminds me of the 12th. March 2020, that's already a few years ago. And back then, over 100,000 nodes were liquidated within 24 hours. Now, you can only say that what happened there. That was definitely much more painful. So please take a look at this. About 1.9 billion US dollars in long positions were liquidated. And about 207, 70 million US dollars in high and short positions. Yeah, so that's really something. And what you can see here, Ethereum saw a drop of 25% at times, while Bitcoin fell by 7% to 93,768. Oh, yeah, I don't think I need to say anything more about that. Now we just need to take a look. Why is it like this now, and why was the market completely unprepared for it? What exactly was going on? So the cause is definitely Donald Trump, that's for sure. But we should also note, he has actually done some pretty good things there, because now a lot of people are running around saying, oh, wasn't it kind of dumb that he's in power now? Because now the power has nothing to do with crypto at all. No, that's not true. So if you take a look here, for example, SAP 121 was abolished. We have the executive order regarding the reserves, so the Bitcoin reserves or crypto reserves, whichever it will be now. So you can definitely say that, yeah, okay, that actually fits so far. Unfortunately, he is quite erratic, and he has done that again today, or rather over the weekend. Massively proven, because what has caused the market to escalate was a complete misjudgment of the market. And now there are a lot of experts out there. Suddenly there are people who know everything about customs and are like, yeah, all right. Because now the tariffs are coming. Will inflation rise or fall? Or hey, nobody knows. So I don't know. I'm not going to presume to talk about anything. To talk about something, you get facts here about what I can report. That's crypto. And the influences from the outside. But not what these tariffs are going to move extremely, because the fact is these tariffs, well, the USA imports more than it exports. And that's where it gets interesting, because in the first step, it was established, okay, there are tariffs. Then I thought, well, okay, that's going to happen around the 1st of March or April or whenever that's going to come. But unfortunately, at this point, no one counted on Donald Trump, because he just stood up on Saturday, mind you, and said, folks, what's with the stinginess? We're just going to do that from now on. And no one saw it coming. And that's what I was referring to at the beginning with Nasdaq, by the way. Since that moment and that statement, there hasn't been anything happening on the stock markets. So the exchange. It opens again today at 3:30 p.m. What can we expect now? What will happen? Hey, folks, listen up. No one can say for sure, but the whole topic is definitely getting interesting because you can see it again here. I think this is the only time I'm going to show the news. But well, tariffs of 10% would be imposed on all imports from China and 25% on imports from the neighboring countries, Mexico and Canada. It was said, well, we'll just have to wait and see what the impact will be. In any case, one could assume so. That means life in the USA will first become more expensive. So what now concerns food, etc. It's relevant because a lot is being imported there. So I also looked that up. We'll see what the effects are. This is supposed to focus primarily on crypto and not on food or anything like that. What a surprise. The fear and greed index has, of course, gone straight to neutral. I don't want to quote Warren Buffett again here. I've done that quite a few times already. Be greedy when others are fearful. That should definitely make some people think. Give, because in the whole phase, and we also had the DeepSeek event in between where we were still in the greedy zone everywhere. And now, it will definitely happen. Interesting. Who has the perseverance and who is selling now at a loss? Because he's afraid that everything will become even less valuable and will then most likely re-enter the market. When the market has recovered and starts to turn upwards, because one thing we can hold on to a bit more positively, I'm moving over here on purpose, because I've heard it quite often. You can't see the heat map. So you really have to go quite far back in the past, and in this case, 6 months to see. Not much is represented down here. So we do have volume here. But this is also where many people say, if we fall below a certain threshold, something around the 88K mark, and we should really close the day there. The way is relatively clear, somewhere in the 70s or even lower. But as I said, the positive thing about it is, if we now pull up the chart again in daily view, so up here, it lights up. And that is, of course, a good indicator. One can also assume that many are now over-leveraged again. Be short in the market. Be it here, be it here, be it here. So from that perspective, as I said, just wait and see. That's also the credo I've established. Let's take a quick look at XRP again. And as I said, the forecast of what makes sense to do now, I will show this briefly again, because I shared it on X today, for example. Now it's time to stay strong, and this picture fits in well too. Please always be aware that you'll never sell at the highest point, at the peak, and you'll also never buy at the lowest point. So that's why it always applies. If you're saying right now, yo, now I want to throw some money into the market again, dollar cost average, because then you get an average price. We all don't know what will happen today at 3:30 p.m. And therefore, personally, I'm just waiting completely right now and watching what they're doing there. So the traditional markets, and based on that, I will then decide how to proceed. Anyone who says now, okay, but maybe it will go up, then I could buy cheaper now. Yes, that could be. Then invest a certain amount now, for example, part of your money, and then you just buy more, even if it's higher, but you're just playing it safer. By the way, if you're not following me on Uptrend yet and don't want to miss any important news, then feel free to catch up on that. Now let's take a quick look at XRP. Yes, there was of course a correction downwards here again on the 15-minute chart. However, this dip was also bought up quite nicely. I already briefly showed it at the beginning. So here too, I'm currently in a wait-and-see position. However, I also want to briefly include that I'm going to add a few overlays here shortly. It's quite interesting how you can see these four in the market because suddenly comments come in, even under yesterday's video, more along the lines of it's not going to go any further. We're going to lose everything and the bull run is over and so on. You should show that to yourselves again. There are now some weekends that unfortunately are more like flags in the wind, and that's not meant to be bad. When the market is completely bullish, in full euphoria, yo, all in, and there will never be another tomorrow. And on the other hand, when it goes the other way, it can happen quickly. Pull the emergency brake because now it's all too late. So be smart about it and approach the market with a certain level of sobriety. But as I said, is it really possible to make a pure chart prediction here? I'm not going to do it again because then I have to listen to it again. Yeah, why wasn't there anything about tariffs in the chart and stuff? Well, maybe this could be a Z. HM. Yeah, we could have recognized that. No, just kidding. The topic is simple. It's just the news right now. And that's why I'm waiting for the traditional markets, because this could really be the calm before the storm. Because there are now some who say, hey friends, this is a bear trap. And yes, in the past, well, we had in this bull run current status, not a really strong correction. Maybe this is really the last bleed of the market where it's being tested. Who can hold on? Who knows the market and who is leaving it early at a loss? And then let's really blast this thing through the roof. It doesn't have to happen today. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. That could also be in the week or something. So we'll see, but it's not out of the question. That should be it for today's market update. I'm really curious, very curious. Feel free to write about it in the comments, what your strategy is right now, what your opinion on that is. Do you think that's it? Do you think it's really just getting started now or starting up again? We'll see. Otherwise, if you liked the video, feel free to give it a like. Feel free to leave a comment. It helps boost the algorithm. And of course, you can also share the channel and the video if you're up for it. In conclusion, I can only give you this tip. Also, feel free to check out this video. Sorry, I'm about to knock over the microphone. That's what I'm talking about, what Trump's plans could actually be, except that he said, hold on. It's very spontaneous, although sometimes that's not such a bad thing. But definitely check out that video. We'll see each other tomorrow in the next update. Until then, all the best. Bye.